Alabama, Texas, 911. What is your emergency?
Yeah, there's my neighbor's house is on fire, and it's pretty bad, and I think there's people still in the house.
Well, sir, why do you think there's people still in the house?
Well, it's early in the morning, and there's cars in the driveway, and they're in there. And I also heard some gunshots as well. So I don't know what's going on, but there's something going on.
Well, sir, sit tight for me just for a little bit. Officers are in the room. Please don't go over there, but stay on the phone with me. And I'm going to ask you a few more questions. I'd like to get your name, some other information from you. And please, once you see the officers, they'll be coming over to you.
Welcome to Criminal Psychology Files. This is Greg Stewart, and today we're going to talk about a particular case, but we're going to go along and see how it plays out. Now, this has been in the news before, so a lot of people know about it, but what I want to talk about is the psychology about it, how we could be involved with someone, how they could manipulate us to do something against our standards and beliefs, and also what's also called in some circles as the herd, where you tell your friends, like, look, this person is preventing me and my significant other to connect. This is my soulmate, so we have to do something in order to get us together because her parents, in this case, are holding us back from our true love. And so the friends all of a sudden jump on board. This is called the herd, where you're not really involved, but you care about your friend, or he's always or she's always been the leader, the alpha. So therefore, it's important for me to support my friend, but you don't think of the consequences. You don't think of the repercussions and what could happen. So we're going to elaborate and connect in reference to this case in just a moment, but you're going to get all the clues first and see if you can catch on to who are the players, who's involved, and how did it come to be. But before we do that, if you could, please like, subscribe, and share, and comment so you can be with me on this case in reference to how you feel about the psychology of this particular case. So without further ado, let's go into the case.
After the 911 call, the police, the fire department, and paramedics would arrive on scene. They were looking through the house. They managed to get the fire controlled, and they found the remains of Terry's family. They found the remains of the wife, children, but Terry was alive, and Erin was nowhere to be found. Erin Caffey is also the daughter who slept out that evening at a friend's house. That friend, her name is Bobby Johnson. She was later found and was utterly surprised about what she heard took place. She was run over with the police, the Rains County Sheriff Department, and they mentioned to Terry, who was in and out of consciousness, that your daughter is alive. Terry was ecstatic to know that Erin was okay with the other ones. Despite the burning, despite the fire, were brutally murdered by who they did not know at this time. After a couple days, Terry was more conscious and stable. When they asked, who did this to you? 5 bullets in you. Who shot you? Terry, recovering from surgery from the bullet wounds, had stated that Erin's ex-boyfriend, Charlie Wilkinson, was the one who did this to me. He shot me, and that's all I can recall at this time. The police would ask, is there anyone else that was there? They said that's the first person who comes to mind.
So Terry Caffey, he's the only survivor of this brutal killing. Now, Erin, the daughter, she was sleeping over her friends. Why would someone do this? What would make this person say, I'm going to take out my ex-girlfriend's entire family? And that's my question to you. What do you think the reason? Now, if you've seen the case, you're already going to know. But put yourself in someone's shoes, the police, a possible psychologist. What would make a person kill an entire family and brutally kill them? Let's find out.
The sheriff's department would get its first lead when Erin Caffey came out of surgery. The sheriff's department would say, "Who did this to you? Do you recall? Did you see anything familiar?" Terry said, "Charlie Wilkinson, my daughter's ex-boyfriend. He was the one responsible for killing my family and also destroying our home, burning it down to the ground." The sheriffs would get into the car having their first suspect. They got a lead on where they could find Charlie Wilkinson. It was in Emory, Texas. They would head over to a trailer where he lived. They would arrive at the trailer and knock on the door. There was no answer. They would try and try. And finally, one of the other sheriffs said, "I'm looking through the window. I see 4 shadows." They must have heard that because shortly after, Charlie opened the door. And in the background, you could see 3 more silhouettes. You could make out now faces. Bobby Johnson, Charles Wade, and Erin Caffey. They were all in there, and they were very calm. The officers, they would ask them, "Look, we just want to talk. Would you mind coming down to the station? Just answer some questions for us, will you? Come down. We'll just get to talk with you." And so they did. And one by one, the stories unraveled. Charlie was the first to crack. Then Bobby, then Charles. And they all pointed the finger at Erin. Erin Caffey, the daughter of Terry Caffey, the only survivor, where all of her siblings and her mother were killed. She planned the whole thing, they said. And we would have come back here as you found us, hiding out, thinking of our next play. Thinking of our next play of what we're going to do. Little did they all know that this whole thing that they did was going to come down crashing on them.
So now they have all their suspects. They all admitted that they played a part in Erin's plan. And what makes a person do and follow someone's plan, a plan of this magnitude, when you think about it? I mean, obviously, Charlie Wilkinson had some skin in the game because he was the boyfriend. But then they talked the others into, let's doing this. Let's go ahead and kill my family. You're my friends. They're taking my freedom. And this is not right. How did they think they were going to get away with this? What was going through their mind? And also, why would you follow? So in some circles of psychology, they call this the herd. There's one main influencer who has this kind of power to make a plan seem so good that they're not going to get caught, no matter what. We can get this pinned on someone else. No one's going to see us by the time we go in the morning, by the time we do this. But everything that they didn't expect was Terry survived. Otherwise, they probably did have the perfect plan. But what kind of household was Erin going through that she had to do this? They seemed like upstanding people. They were involved in the church, very loving, very supportive. And here's a person who says, I'm going to be in control. What kind of personality does this? A narcissist will do this. And they're also using Machiavellian techniques to control and create a herd, which is exactly what Erin did. Let's go ahead and see how they're going to put it all together to put these people behind bars.
After pointing the finger at Erin, all of her friends, everyone turned against her. Erin felt trapped. She felt angry, and she felt desperate. So what does a person do in this case? They make themselves the victim, which is exactly what Erin was doing. You don't know the half of it. You don't know what my family would put me through on a regular basis. You won't know, and you don't know why I had to do this. They were so mean to me. They were so abusive. They did all of these things to me. And then she would follow it with tears and crying. Now, she wasn't aggressive when she did verbalize this. And at times she looked numb. At times her IQ would go into places where you can tell through the circles of psychology that she was reaching for the stars, meaning your eyes will go in certain directions when it's an actual fact that something happened, and then it will go in another direction when you're creating something. And that's exactly what her eyes did, creating and fabricating a storyline to make herself look like the victim. And so the sheriff said, okay, I could get behind that, just to play it with her. I could get behind that, Erin. But why your siblings? Why did they have to go? You had your father shot, and he survived, thank goodness. You had your mother brutally killed with weapons outside of bullets. And then you had your siblings. Why your siblings? What did they do? Again, Erin playing the victim. They were supposed to live. They were supposed to live and not be hurt. That was taken upon by Charlie himself and Charles. They were the ones that decided to do that. I didn't want that for them. And I missed them so much. And she would cry and say, now I realized after everything that happened, it shouldn't have happened. I was hurt. I was trapped. And I was desperate to get out of this situation. And so that's what she would tell them. This would be her story. And her story then put her in jail. In fact, when it was told, when the psychology reports, when the brutality of the murders had finally come into fruition, the jury said, we feel she is guilty, and the judge would hand her down 2 life sentences, plus an additional 25 years. Charlie and Charles, they also got life without parole. And Bobby, the driver, who was also involved, was sentenced to 40 years. Terry did eventually forgive his daughter. He rebuilds his life today, remarries, and he becomes a speaker to help others look for the dangers and to check mark the unchecked emotions that we don't see, the peer pressures from the groups that they are involved in, because beneath some of these things can be total darkness. Erin would still plead that it was her psychopathic traits that really wasn't there, but an ADD and an abuse from a family that she still will stand by. This manipulative behavior that she orchestrated to control and emotionally detach herself is one of the reasons why she is labeled today as a narcissist. We thank you for listening and watching Criminal Psychology Files. Please stay with us for more great episodes, and please again subscribe, like, share, and comment. And if you're dealing with someone that has similar traits, reach out to us. Put it in the comments of what you're going through to help others who watch this podcast. Until next time, have a great day or evening wherever you may be.
So after listening to this podcast like yourself and doing the research, she was labeled a narcissist, meaning Erin Caffey, and for good reason. If you watch interviews with Dr. Phil, if you watch Piers Morgan, Chase Hughes, who's a specialist in psych ops in reference to reading people, as well as the work that I have done in reference to psych ops from studying with these individuals through their programs, one of the key factors that goes through my mind is there such thing of a good narcissist? Here you have someone that used these entitled personality types to get what I want at any cost. Does anybody ever use them for the greater good? And believe it or not, you might find it hard to believe, but yes, there are some. Now, what is the difference? There are some that will do it for the greater good to help someone, but they also want the accolades behind it. Look what I did. Look what I continue to do, to feel good, to realize what I'm doing is for the greater good of themselves, but also a group or a person that they're helping. So there are some good narcissists, if you're ever wondering, is there such thing of that? Unfortunately, Erin wasn't one of them. Again, when you watch the interviews, I wish we could post them here. Unfortunately, copyright, in reference to Google and YouTube, they don't allow us to do that. But you could still see those videos on Pierce Morgan, on Dr. Phil, and I also believe he has Chase Hughes, who is the psych ops specialist. You can actually watch what he says in the breakdown and how they show video, how they show pictures of there's just nothing up here, there's no remorse, there's eye cueing where if it was something that she really cared about when she is crying, her eyes should do something in reference to really connecting on her family memories, but they don't do that. If anything, they're more self-absorbed. They're her going to a different area where we use to create, whether it's doing something for the greater good, if there was a good person in reference to narcissist, or even just someone who's creative that doesn't have nothing to do with being a narcissist. If you're creating something, whether it's music, building something, your eyes will go to a certain way. And you could check that out on any eye cueing diagram. Now, when she used it to create, she was creating, oh, woe is me, and look, I'm in pain, and me. And that was another sign of her narcissistic tendencies. It wasn't remorseful unless it was brought to her attention. How could you kill your siblings? How could you kill your family in general? But one of the key things, well, they put me through abuse. Well, they did this and they did that, pointing the finger at someone opposed to, I am so sorry about what happened. I can't believe this happened to this magnitude. Then maybe it would have been like I was just so angry with them but no, it was like what I went through though, what I continue to go through, what I did. These are narcissistic tendencies. And in my line of work, I see this a lot. I had a couple who came in and she would abuse the hell out of her significant other. And her significant other, she would tell me, I don't know what to do. I can never do anything right. She's always attacking me. And when it was brought to her attention, her significant other, she was like, let's not forget me in this. I'm this and I'm that. And I have feelings and I want this. And she tried to make herself the victim, where she wouldn't take any responsibility for what she had done or was doing in that relationship. And this is one of the tendencies. And are you going through this? Do you know someone who is going through this? Please comment. If you'd like to reach out and talk to me one-on-one, let's do that, because I do this work and it is an opportunity to say, hey, I am going through something. What do I do? What can I use to get out of this? Well, one of the things, finding a way to get out of it, if that's really what you're looking to do, again, look at your support systems, look at your resources that stand by you, that see the abuse that you're going through, and then think about it. Does the pros weigh more than the cons? They never do. So you want to find the ways to get yourself out of it. But I understand that self-esteem holds you back. After all, that's why a narcissist picks you. And this is where I would recommend, whether you were speaking to me or someone else, talk to someone to get the tools that you need, because you're going to need more than one session to build up your self-control, your self-confidence in order to build on. That's what it took this one person that I knew who was also a family member. They finally kept telling themselves, it's love, it's love, it's love, or then it turned to I'm being controlled, I'm being controlled. So one day they had to wait for this person to go to work and say, hey, can you please help me? I'm stuck. And so I sent plane tickets. I said, are you really going to get out of it this time? Because they seem to have a control over you. I was able to help this family member, send them plane tickets, and put them with a place to stay where they can be comfortable. And that's when this person came upon me and said, what about me? Not like, I'm sorry that she told you this. I'm sorry that she's feeling this. What about me? So these are some of the key things that they do. And this is a perfect vision, a perfect vision of what Erin would do when it came down to her. Again, watch those interviews. You'll see it's just all about me. And what it's a shame is that here's this teenager. These traits were early developed. They were early developed
probably about 6, 7, 8, or 9, where we just don't see those, as Terry Caffey said, check off the unemotional responses. I know now what to look for. I did not know then. It just seemed like a normal child, maybe with little things here and there, but nothing that really gave me a red flag. Remember, if your subconscious mind shows doubt, if you have any doubt, well, mark that as a red flag. See how often that happens. See if that script continues to repeat itself. These will show basically that this could be a narcissistic trait. Also Machiavellian. Does this person manipulate people to get what they want? Do they start fights with manipulation to cause trouble, to test, to see what I can do? These are also traits to see what they can get away with. I'll use this just to pit people against each other. Wow, that really worked. You're my guinea pig. So I want you to look into these things because they can be very helpful for you. And again, like, subscribe, share, but most important in this case, comment. Comment if you went through this, what were some of the traits that you experienced that maybe this show, as well as myself, had left out. So until next time, once again, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. And I hope you have a great day or evening wherever you are. Please continue to tune in. We appreciate the feedback. Thank you and have a great day or evening.